This is the story of how a broke substitute teacher turned his deepest life anxieties into Grosse Pointe Blank, the beloved 1997 dark comedy about a contract killer attending his high school reunion. In 1991, writer Tom Jankiewicz received an invitation to his own 10-year class gathering. He struggled financially while working at a discount retail store, and he felt like a total failure. This shame triggered intense anxiety, so he avoided the event entirely. Instead, he channeled those negative emotions into a written screenplay. He chose to write about a professional mercenary returning home, using the lethal profession as a creative way to show how terrifying it feels to face old classmates. The script eventually caught the attention of major producers, but the journey to the screen was filled with unexpected hurdles. To populate this invented world, Jankiewicz grabbed names straight from his everyday routine, turning his personal struggles into comedic gold. He originally wrote the protagonist's high school best friend using his childhood buddy's actual name, which was later changed to Paul Spiricki during filming. Even the killer's eccentric secretary, Marcella, got her name from the writer's former manager at the retail store. These personal details gave the story a grounded feeling. However, the production team faced an immediate challenge when local rumors began to spread about the script. A strange urban legend claimed that a former student from the specific Michigan town had truly become a professional contract killer. People believed this myth for years. In reality, this rumor emerged organically from audiences and forums after the movie was released. This trick generated huge interest, yet securing a backer remained difficult. Because the industry was hesitant about dark humor, getting the project made proved difficult. In 1992, actor Kiefer Sutherland showed intense interest in starring as the lead character, but major studios flatly refused to finance the concept. Executives in the early 90s worried that mixing graphic violence with lighthearted comedy would alienate audiences. This fear forced the script to sit on shelves for years. That gridlock broke only when John Cusack read the material and decided to shepherd it himself. The actor loved the contrast of a normal suburban background with a lethal job. He used his rising star power to greenlight the feature. This creative control allowed him to shape the project his own way, starting with the casting process. He wanted to surround himself with trusted collaborators who could handle the script's highly distinct tone. Instead of hiring typical Hollywood background actors, the new lead star decided to turn the set into a giant family gathering. 4 different Cusack siblings secured roles in the film. This made the production feel incredibly intimate. John played the central assassin, while his sister Joan portrayed his highly efficient office assistant. Their sister Anne appeared as a heavily intoxicated guest at the local bar. Finally, their brother Bill joined the fun as a waiter at the local restaurant. This heavy family presence created an unusual comfort level on the set, which allowed the cast to take major creative risks during filming. These risks proved especially useful when preparing for the physical stunts, where personal relationships again played a prominent role. The most celebrated action sequence in the feature pits the protagonist against a rival assassin in a high school hallway. To make the close-quarters combat look convincing, the director cast Benny Urquidez, a world champion kickboxer who went by the nickname The Jet. Urquidez was not a stranger to the lead actor. He had spent years working as Cusack's longtime martial arts trainer. Their off-screen connection meant they could choreograph highly complex and dangerous moves without accidentally injuring each other. This intense physical training paid off on screen, but the director wanted to apply that same level of spontaneous energy to the spoken dialogue. Therefore, he designed a bizarre shooting schedule to capture every possible variation of a scene, pushing the actors to their limits. This technique transformed the entire production style. To keep the performances fresh, director George Armitage employed a highly unusual filming technique for almost every single scene. he would record 3 distinct versions of each script page back to back. The first take followed the written words exactly. The second take toned down the energy for a quieter option. Finally, the third take allowed the actors to fully improvise. They pushed the material into bizarre, chaotic territory. This triple shooting method essentially gave the editor 3 totally different films to work with in the cutting room. Because the improvised takes felt so alive, Armitage ended up using those wild variations for the final theatrical cut. This experimental style kept the actors on their toes, which led directly to one of the most memorable romantic moments in the film. During the scene where the lead character visits his former high school sweetheart at her radio station, the dialogue was supposed to be highly conversational. However, during one of the improvised takes, actress Minnie Driver suddenly grabbed her co-star and planted a deep kiss on his lips. This sudden romantic gesture was not in the script. The genuine look of shock and happiness on John Cusack's face was entirely sincere. Because the chemistry felt so natural, the director kept the unscripted moment in the final edit. This loose style of filming made the set highly attractive to other Hollywood stars who wanted to join the project. One legendary director even wanted to make a cameo where he would get shot or blown up. He wanted to leave his own personal mark on the film's chaotic universe. Quentin Tarantino was a strong supporter of George Armitage, which led to a bizarre collaboration during the convenience store shootout. For this sequence, the crew needed props to decorate the background. Tarantino gave them permission to use a promotional standee for Pulp Fiction. During the gunfight, the poster is visibly blasted to pieces by stray bullets. This served as a subtle inside joke for film fans. Originally, Tarantino wanted to make a cameo where he got shot or blown up during the shootout. Ultimately, the rumored cameo never materialized. Despite this minor setback, the production moved forward with its tight schedule. However, they quickly hit a major roadblock regarding their physical filming locations in 1996. The real town they wanted to highlight had some major concerns about how they would be portrayed on the big screen. Although the entire story centers on a specific Michigan suburb, the real city of Grosse Pointe refused to let the crew film within their borders. Local officials worried that a comedy about a contract killer would damage their prestigious town image. Therefore, they denied the production permits. This rejection forced the crew to shoot almost the entire project in California. They specifically used quiet streets in Monrovia and Los Angeles to double for Michigan. To maintain realism, a small camera team spent just 12 hours in Michigan to capture aerial helicopter shots of the specific neighborhood. This visual compromise worked perfectly, but the geographic displacement did not change the deep political message hidden beneath the funny dialogue. The screenwriters had built a story with sharp, satirical teeth. John Cusack co-wrote the screenplay with a specific political message in mind, aiming to critique the commercialism of the previous decade. He viewed the protagonist's mercenary career as a direct metaphor for the foreign policy decisions of the 80s. The co-writers wanted to show how a person could separate cold business violence from their normal domestic life. This drew direct parallels to government officials who planned military operations before returning home to their quiet families. The creators wanted to expose the moral emptiness of that mindset. This deep thematic layer elevated the picture far above standard Hollywood comedies. The original writer, Tom Jankiewicz, never fully stepped into the Hollywood spotlight, preferring to work quietly behind the scenes on other scripts. In January 2013, he attended a special screening of his beloved masterpiece at his brother's former university. He happily answered questions from excited cinema students during a lively post-film discussion. Just moments after the celebration ended, Jankiewicz collapsed. He tragically passed away from a sudden heart attack at the age of 49. This shocking loss devastated the cast, but his legacy lives on through the enduring popularity of his bizarre story. Decades after its release, Grosse Pointe Blank remains a highly celebrated cult classic. It stands as proof that a writer's personal anxiety can sometimes create timeless cinema. His singular vision continues to entertain audiences and inspire filmmakers around the globe today.